E-Production is experiencing a renaissance, and the second largest field at last year's runoffs took the green. There was a huge scramble for the lead early on. The number 99 of Pratt Cole got into the number 2 of Grayson Upchurch, but after that minor altercation, Cole led to the finish. Several drivers didn't fare as well as Cole, though, when their day ended early after a multi-car wreck, which brought out a full course caution. After the restart, Cole picked up where he left off, opening up the lead over Upchurch, and in 13 seasons of competition, took home his second title. Will he be able to bring home a third today in this extremely close class, or will a new face step atop the podium in victory circle? Mazdas may have the field covered in terms of numbers in E-Production, but Grayson Upchurch continues to go against the odds. He's going to be campaigning the lone Nissan 240 SX. He's been close a number of times, including silver last year. He wants to get it done today. Now, even his competitors say Tony Rivera might be the rising star in E-Production. 5 wins on the way to the Rocky Mountain Divisional Championship mark him as a sure contender. But how about 6 wins for our Southwestern Division champ? And he also has one of the great names in racing, Tom Thrash. One thing he won't be thrashing on in this rotary are pistons. But there are other contenders, according to David Hobbs.
From Tom Thrash to Pratt Cole. Pratt Cole won this championship in 1997. He also won it last year from pole position. Now, partly as a result of him winning that championship, the Mazdas are carrying another 80 pounds this year. John Brackey, in his second year in the Mazdas, carrying that 80 pounds. He's had a win and 3 seconds in the Central Division, giving him 3rd spot in that division. But the man they're all going to have to run after is the Honda Prelude of John Schmidt. 5 wins in the Central Division this year. One of them being at the all-important national race here in June. So John Schmidt is going to be very tough in today's race.
For years, while other groups were considered the prestige classes, the production category was really the backbone of SCCA competition. But as of late, E-Production in particular has joined the ranks of the favorite, and thus one of our largest fields is about to settle the question, who's the best? And it's coming up in E-Production right here at Mid-Ohio. Welcome, everybody, to the 39th edition of SCCA's National Championship Valvoline Runoffs. Greg Creamer along with David Hobbs. And David, this big field is going out on a busy track.
It's a very busy track, and as you can see, 15 turns in 2.4 miles, but the key points are the keyhole. That's where you've got to come out of there fast, so you can go down that long straight and get the braking and the passing done right there, which is where we're going to see a lot of action this afternoon. The rest of the track, of course, very twisty, as you can see. Got to have good mechanical grip, but those are the 2 key spots this afternoon in this track, and it's going to rain on it as well.
You are a warped man to laugh as you say it might rain on this large field. Let's get down to Brian Till.
Well, you know, E-Production used to be dominated by the British marques, but we've seen a massive influx of the Mazdas, and the marketing guys have to love it. Even though the RX-7 has gone away, they took that rotary power, they marketed it. Now they're marketing the Miata pistons, Mazdas and pistons, and they are all over this field, and they are doing well. Times they are changing, guys, but it's still the same old, what wins on Sunday sells on Monday. So let's get down to my partner in the pits. No, not John Bon Jovi, but the very famous John Bizignano.
Hey, Brian, I hate to tell you, buddy, I don't know where your umbrella is. I just couldn't find it. I don't know. We'll have to work something out. But the weather has changed here literally in the last 10 minutes. Everyone came to this grid with dry weather tires, and I am feeling drops on me now. Many of these teams don't have 2 sets of rims. I don't know what's going to happen if it starts pouring. A lot of wind coming down the straightaway, a trailing wind that might cause some problems with gear ratioing. It's all up in the air now. We're down to about 65 degrees down here, guys.
Well, this could get very interesting. 36 cars, a lot of intensity, the pressure of a national championship chase, and they're sending them out on what soon might become a wet track. We'll be right back here at Mid-Ohio. Speed Channel's coverage of the SCCA Valvoline Runoffs is brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. Well, the field underway on their pace and parade laps, and these could be very crucial depending upon the weather. Let's introduce them all to you with our Valvoline starting grid. Very interesting development here up front. After all those Mazdas and the Miatas and the RX-7s, it's Craig Kima in the Elva Courier. Ends up on the pole with a great run. Pratt Cole, the defending champ, ends up second. There's a look at the top 10, and as I said, it is some 36 cars strong. And David, the gentleman John Schmidt you mentioned, who was so strong in Central Division, was mired back in 17th.
So we'll look for him to come rushing through, and if it should rain, he's particularly good in the rain, and it does really look quite threatening at the moment. He could come through, but of course the big problem is if it gets too wet, these guys will never be able to make it on slicks, and they may not have rain tires with them.
That's going to be a very, very tough development. This is the fastest of our prod classes.
Well, of course, the production class, as you can see, E, F, P, G, and H, and they're based absolutely on strict driveline performance of these cars as they come out of the factory floor. You're allowed to make modifications to them, but they must retain their original design, the structure and the drive layout. But of course, you can run a car in G production or F production and just change the edge between races and have the same car.
Exactly. We do have an onboard for you, and he's qualified 7th. We met him at the top of the show. Tony Rivera, who's been so fast in the Rocky Mountain division. This might change up come weather, but on board with Tony, and he is quick. Looking forward to that. For a last-minute thought here from pit lane, let's go down to Brian Till.
Well, guys, you know, when I drove, I liked cool weather. It kept you comfortable in the car, but the guy who doesn't like it today is Craig Kima. The reason is his Elva Courier, it's about 1,000 pounds lighter than those Mazdas, and it has less horsepower. What that means is when it's hot, that extra 1,000 pounds in the Mazdas, it wears the tires down. He told me as it's cooled down, he's worried that their tires are going to stay with him a lot longer, and with the extra horsepower that they have, they may beat him down the straightaway.
Well, the key, of course, to that straightaway, as we looked at the map at the beginning, is coming around that keyhole. The lighter car should go through the keyhole a good bit quicker, but he needs to be quicker than them. If they've got more power than him, he needs to come out onto the straight well clear of them, otherwise they'll just blow by him on the straight. But on the other hand, when they come to turn 6 and the braking, the lighter car will pick up speed again.
It's all a matter of getting the right balance and getting out of that turn. Now the pace car goes in here, but remember at Mid-Ohio for the start and restarts, they don't do it on the fairly short front straight. They do it on the back straight, where it's a lot more room for them to work. Now the car that qualified 4th, Joe Walker, just coming onto the front straight. Biz has an update.
Well, I'll tell you what I have at the update. It's great to see all this new equipment here, but I'm very romantic when it comes to E-production. I want to see Joe Walker with a Lotus 7, a beautiful Lotus Super 7, coming through this field for the gold medal. That would be great.
Well, as we said for so many years, it was the Lotus Super 7s and the Sprites and the Spitfires and the like that were really the driving force in production, and Craig Kima as well carrying the colors of an era that some say is bygone and others say it is never bygone. They're still quick.
Yeah, I'm absolutely amazed to see an Elva Courier. I raced against Elva Couriers 35 years ago, so absolutely staggering to see this car on the pole for this E-production race. As you can see, it's a very big field, 36 starters. Already somebody off, and the race hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, he went to the throttle coming out of the keyhole, and it just stepped out on him, and I wonder if it's a little damp back there. Meanwhile, let's see if we get the green as we go on board with Tony Rivera, and it flies. Green is out, and Kima, it's crucial for him to lead into this first turn so we can put that lightweight to use. And we might point out that the Mazda Miatas, you mentioned the Mazdas were carrying 80 additional pounds. It's the Miatas, the RX-7s. I don't know that they're carrying quite that weight load, so they may be a strong car, particularly if it rains, because they have roofs on it as well. And there you see Grayson Upchurch just in front, 2 cars in front of our onboard here with the roof in the Nissan. So that is another factor as they come up and over. But look at the lead Kima has opened up, David.
That's the sort of lead he needs to make there. We see somebody that's up the road.
It's one of the RX-7s. Trying to gather it up and get back on. Oh, right in front of some traffic there. Oh, and the number 34 is off. Don Crafson driving another of the Elva Couriers.
Number 8 slowed down, John Weisberg.
We got 2 or 3 cars. We must be getting a little bit of a dampness is what I'm trying to say. Oh, that's our onboard went off. No wonder. Tony Rivera going around in the 07 of Eric Skurmans. They may have touched.
I think they did touch. That's going through 8. There you see our camera car sliding down the grass verge. It's not a very good start for the guy trying to come through those corners side by side. Is extremely difficult. Needs a lot of judgment and needs a lot of help from the other drivers. And look at the lead that Craig Kima has got already as he goes through the keyhole. for the first time in race configuration. The field packed up behind, 3 abreast as they go through the keyhole.
Unbelievable. Oh, and right in front of the group. Is that Upchurch? Upchurch may have got his. It's Grayson Upchurch running in 5th, has gone around, and he's been collected by the number 74 of Roland Camber.
Somebody else flying on field now. 74 car. Roland Camber's got some fender work stuck under the front of the car. Bits of debris flying. Oh, and there goes the 74 car.
Now here comes Upchurch, but he has dropped way back. Let's take a look at it.
He got nuts. He got helped around there.
And that 01 Skurmans, who had damage from the earlier contact with a camera car, he sneaks underneath.
And I think, was it his fender that Roland Camber ran over?
That could very well be. And the gentleman, Walker is off, but he's back on. Biz, bad news. Rest of the field coming through, and I've got to believe, David, that we're getting some dampness out there as far as skating everywhere.
Have we got just a little bit of a sprinkling of rain out there that we can't see?
Boy, they're certainly acting like it at this stage.
Oh, this is the top of the hill. This is the top of Madness. Coming down there, goes rattling through the grass because he didn't have the fender work on here to damage that some of the other cars do. In fact, he cuts off the corner. Oh, that was a bit clumsy.
Well, he tried to save it and sort of get around that corner on the damp grass, and it did not work. So right now, Craig Kima looking to make good his escape, and he has stretched it out already to 3 seconds over John Brackey and Glenn Young up from 5th.
Of modern technology, a lot of people will tell you that newer is better, but if you ask Joe Walker, he'll tell you that his 65 Lotus Super 7 works just fine. Now, Joe, you could have a newer car. Why this vintage?
Absolutely. I bought my first Lotus in 1972, a new Elan. I still own the car. I love to drive it. Got this Lotus because it followed Chapman's basic principle of light and simple. It equals reliability, and on the proper conditions and the right day, it's very quick.
Well, this car actually started on the pole at the runoff several years ago, and maybe Chapman had it right. Maybe the same holds true for cars. Age and treachery before youth and exuberance.
That's a very good point, but of course he had that moment where it looked like he just pushed right off the track, and he's now slid back to 15th.
But he'll come back up to the field, I'm sure. He's got to get that grass off the tires. We've obviously something happened in front of him then too. We saw some smoke. Here we see him.
Ooh, that's Pratt Cole going around. And, that's what happened.
That's what happened. Pratt Cole had spun around and stopped right in front of him, so Walker took to the grass to avoid him. Then driving across the grass, trying to keep the speed up a little bit too much, then loses control on the grass. Very nearly slides out into the track. That could be why the track's getting slippery. I wonder how long that car's been smoking.
Oh, man, and smoking terribly bad as well. That's the 69 of Don Aarons out of Gainesville, Florida. And he is... What happens at this stage is the corner workers are asked to say, report if the track is getting, if he's dumping on the track. And if they don't see any dumping and it's just burning up on the exhaust pipe, they'll let him stay out. So they'll be following him very, very closely. There is Walker. Now he's moved up one spot up into the 14th position. Earlier, by the way, I said the 01 was Skurmans, and it's not. It is Jeff Derniel, who has had himself a very good run in the early going and has fought his way up into 5th with Skurmans right behind him. So I wanted to clarify that. But Walker back in 14th in a pack. And right now, this is the battle for 3rd. That's Glenn Young in the black and orange Mazda with Pratt Cole right behind him, then Derniel, and then the 07 of Skurmans. And there's that car. That's the 66.
That's another one that's smoking.
That's Tom Thrash, who we met at the top of the show. He's got trouble as well. His looks more like maybe some body rub on the tire.
It's coming off the tire. Oh, yeah, big time coming off the tire there. Skurmans in the 07 there, dragging a lot of body work around, so that's not helping his handling one little bit.
It's a 5-car battle right now for the bronze medal. Brackey 09 is in 2nd, and Kima is out front at this stage. There is Brackey, and here's this battle. Oh, look at this move here. Derniel, Cole is loose. Everybody's loose, and that is exactly where that 69 ran through earlier. And so I wonder if maybe there is oil going down that...
I think there's a lot of oil down there. Gotta be.
And Coyle, look at Pratt. He has stalled it right in the line.
Dead in the water. Like he's got it. Here he goes. Got it going.
He's got it started again, and it's going. Let's watch it here. And it was fortunate here that Derniel went wide because he got out of the oil.
You can see the other two going around, pirouetting together there. The 07 Skurmans car looking very twitchy there. And the 06 car of Pratt Cole there.
Well, Kima continues to run out front. Let's check in to John Visignano.
John Weisberg, an awful lot of rough driving out there in the opening laps.
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of got piled up on the start there, and then I kind of made a mistake on my own part. The cold tires got off on the outside of the keyhole and trying to make up for it, and then Schmidt and I in the Honda got together in the haystack and it banged it around real hard. And
is the track slippery?
Yeah, the track's real cold actually. This weather came in and the track's cooled down quite a bit, so yeah, it's kind of difficult. We've been in pretty good weather all week long, and it's the first real overcast we've gotten.
Sorry, mate. I'm sorry you're in the pit lane, not on the track. Brian Till.
Well, Don Crafson is another guy who's standing in here who doesn't want to be here. And what a story. You just went to your driver school in February and made it to the runoffs in 1 year, but after a long weekend out way too early.
Yeah, it was tough. We started from the back because I had some carburation problems, and then I got over turn 8 and got a little push and went off into the concrete, and it bent a control arm, so I couldn't steer it.
But you're okay, and that's probably the most important thing. You got a family at home, I know.
There was a lot accomplished this year, thanks to my dad. I'd like to say hi to my wife, Ann, and my daughter, Brooke.
All right, guys, back to you.
We continue to see just how much of a family sport this is, a family adventure, if you will. Kima leads it with Brackey in second, but Jeff Neal, when he got around all those cars spinning, he's third, he's comfortable in third, and he's closing up from 12th. 39th edition of the Valvoline Runoffs, SCCA's national championship at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Today, the championship battle is in E-production here on Speed. You know, you plan for an entire season to be able to take a run for a national title, but David, you can never plan on weather, and look at the rain on the windshield of Tony Rivera.
Now, we've seen some people dropping oil as well. This is not a good combination. A bit of rain on a bit of oil makes for extremely slippery track. There's no doubt about it. So these guys taking great care at the moment, and we get a good shot here. We can see the car moving around from that camera shot. This is the carousel where we saw those cars pirouetting there. Looks like the oil to me on that track. And look at this kit.
Whoa, Brackey now has caught Kima.
Caught right up by John Brackey.
Well, I was going to ask you the question. If the track's starting to get damp in particular, does the extra weight of the Mazda then become actually a bonus, an asset?
Not really. Weight never helps in a race car because although you get more downforce from the weight, you've got a lot more centrifugal force trying to throw you off, but he's obviously a lot quicker down the straight there than Craig Kima. I can only think that Craig Kima has got some sort of a problem.
Well, maybe Viz could give us some information. John?
Well, the information, there hasn't been a word from the driver, Kima. He is so happy with the car, and the mechanics were very happy in this morning's warm-up particularly. This car has been around this track many times. They know it inside and out. They've been fine-tuning it, fine-tuning it, and fine-tuning it. They were absolutely 100% confident that if they survived the rough driving at the beginning of the race, they would be able to stay out front.
Boy, John, twice now Kima has given Brackey a tap. He went around Brackey into the S's, but he's been very quick since that point and has tapped Brackey a couple of times as if to say, it's not done yet, mate.
But Brackey was quick from 11 up to 13 and through 13. Look at this, Kima catching him right up into the carousel, which is a quicker car through here. I would think the Elva career would be, yes, it is quicker. Catches him up again, but then as he come out here, the superior horsepower there of the 89 car, John Brackey, really helps to pull him away.
During qualifying, Kima the very first day got hit pretty hard in the back and it wrinkled up the rear of that car. They got it fixed, but even in that situation, he went out and put the car in pole. The time from Tuesday held, and he's been very quick. But as you said, from the exit of the carousel in particular, all the way to the S's, Kima right now is not the strongest car.
And he catches right up through the corkscrew, through the keyhole here. See, he's right behind him again, but then as they hit the straight, boom, the Miata just absolutely pulls away.
Well, John Brackey is out in front, and Brian Till, I understand the family is pretty antsy.
Well, Greg, I do have a pretty interested spectator down here. Lisa, you said, how long has John been chasing a national championship?
For a little over 20 years.
And never been on the podium?
Never been on the podium.
Now, I asked you a minute ago if you were nervous, and I said, you tell me on camera what you said. But I'm going to answer the question. You said no. That's when he was in second place. He's in the lead now. Are you nervous?
No.
Brian, just to let you know, Brackey just got sideways and Kima's backing into the lead.
I should have never asked you that question. He got loose and he's back to second place.
Boy, they just came up and over the S's there, David, and on the exit at the top.
Did they tap there again? Kima is so much quicker through 6 and 7 and all the core. Look, he catches him right up here. Brackey gets up on the curb, starts to lose at the car. In fact, if Kima hadn't hit him on the side, he'd have spun right there and then. Kima actually straightened him out for him. And look at this, he does this huge tank slapper going down to 8. Kima pulled away.
Yeah, he held on to it, but he has lost a lot of time. 2.5 seconds to be exact. So Brackey puts his head down, begins the work all over again.
Elva Courier Mark IV. If you look at that piece of paper, it was originally sold from Carl Haas to Fred Opert in 1966. The car went straight to Sebring and finished in front of several factory Ferraris. Well, right now it's owned by Craig Kima. And Craig, I've got to ask you, a car that is this old, how does it compete against some of the newer equipment?
Well, we do give up quite a bit in terms of straight line speed, but it outhandles, it outstops most of the current models. So.
Well, out of 36 entries in this class, only 5 are not Japanese made. But this is the car that's been leading the pack all weekend long.
This one is definitely not Japanese made. This was made in the north of England 36 years ago. Can you believe it?
And it has been the pace setter. And he is fortunate, though, to be back in the lead at this point. And John Bizignano, you're down in an open pit lane. What are things like?
Well, we haven't had any rain, but I'll tell you, the race before this, there were a lot of blown engines, which is kind of unusual for Formula Continental. But they were oil drying the track, trying to get it prepared, but they only have about 15 minutes between the races. That and the lower temperatures. It's been in the 80s all week long, so the people were bringing out some of their harder compounds to make sure they had good rubber underneath them after 20 laps. They went to the grid in the bright sunshine, and they sat there and watched the temperature drop some 15 degrees.
So they're having a heck of a time getting heat in the tires, and we've been watching an unbelievable battle, and it started off for the battle for ninth, and 51, Ken Kennard looped it, got sideways at the top of the S's, and coming in at some serious speed was Sam Helkias, who just passed Mark Brackey, got around Milton Grant. They got into the top of the S's, and poor...
That's side by side here again, three abreast, they go through the carousel, 2 abreast, they go through the carousel now.
And Grayson Upchurch, you see the wrinkle on the right front fender, he clipped 51. Kennard, who was sitting dead stick at the S's. This is unbelievable here. Halkias right there. He's the white TR6 right there.
And Joe Walker in the Lotus Super 7 there. John Bizignano's pick, who had that spin early on, got pushed off when the car was spinning in front of him. He's gradually picking his way up through the field.
He's working it right behind Sam Helkias is number 3, Jesse Prather, right in front. Right there, the car right in front. That's Pratt Cole, who had to spin early, and he is trying to come back. The defending champion, still buried back in the pack in 10th.
He's had a couple of spins, hasn't he, Pratt Cole?
Yeah, he's had a tough day.
Because he was laying a lot of rubber earlier on where the bodywork was rubbing on his front tire, but that seems to have stopped, so he's either worn it away or it's fallen off.
So there's the 98. That's the brother. That's Mark Brackey to John Brackey. And look at this battle here. Upchurch trying to get a move on Brackey, and around the outside of Halkias goes Jesse Prather.
Brackey cuts him off there in the turn 6, and you can see there's a fender already coming off the 12 car of Grayson Upchurch. And here comes Joe Walker in the Super 7. There's the number 4 car of Milton Grant.
And here we got our biggest movers. The biggest so far is Prather, number 3, up 13 spots. But Brackey having a good run. There's Prather right there. Brackey moving up as well. Jerneal, who's running right now in 3rd for the bronze, has moved up a lot. Terry Jesk and Rivera as well. There is Brackey, brother to the gentleman, running in 2nd spot right now. But I've been watching Mark. A lot of smoking spots coming out of the back of that car. More than normal than in a prod class. Ooh, and Walker going to take a look to go underneath Grayson Upchurch. And that's one thing about running those Super 7s. You got those wheels exposed out there. One little tap.
Joe, you've got to be careful, exactly. Joe Walker going up the inside as they come into turn 1, the fastest turn here. Yeah, decides that discretion is the better part of valor there. Doesn't get pinched off by that significantly bigger car than he is.
Well, not only significantly bigger, but significantly battered. Grayson Upchurch, none of these have been his own fault. But when you're coming up on a car and you see bodywork bent everywhere, I suppose you're a little more cautious.
Like when you park next to something in a car park with dents all over, you think, well, I'm going to park close to that. The 98 car there,
a lot of
still
smoke.
smoking. Mark Brackey's car still smoking. Back to the leader now. That's Craig Keeman. He's got a good lead over John Brackey still, but Brackey trying hard now.
Talking about Brackey and his quest for a national championship, for years he ran a white Yenko Stinger, which is basically Don Yenko's development on a Corvair in the GT3 category. Destroyed everybody in Central Division, but never could quite get it done at the Runoffs. And he finally decided, well, time to step up some new equipment. And he immediately has been a contender here in Ypres, starting with last year, and is sitting second now. But Craig Kima is up front. Craig Kima in the chase to the E-Production National Championship at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Now take a look at this recipe. You mix in a little oil, little rain, big field, and a lot of aggression. Watch this.
Our camera car of Tony Rivera trying to go around the outside on turn 8. Didn't work. 66 car side by side here. We see Roland Camber sticking it straight in the door, the number 74 car there. 99 Pratt Cole spins around, which makes Joe Walker take some evasive action. He goes down the grass, thinks he's going to cut the corner here, keep up the speed, but spins it. Then Pratt Cole spins again down at the carousel, taking 2 other cars with him.
And it wasn't Cole's only moment. He had a spin a little bit later on as well. And then this moment, Brackey had gone to the lead, was about to go around. And as you pointed out, Kima coming by and clipping him, straightening him right out.
If John Brackey wins this race, he better give a big check to Craig Kima, because it saved his life there. He would have spun around for sure.
Oh, we've been talking about the activity on the track and the temperatures and the tires, John Bizignano.
Well, a lot of the teams have gone back to the paddock and they've gotten the full rain tire. Of course, the grooves in this tire will expel the water out from underneath it. But what everyone is on is the racing slick. Any moisture underneath this tire, just a bit of it, is going to raise that tire right back off the ground. They don't want to be on this if it's raining. We're more than halfway through. No one wants it to rain. But if they do, if any moisture comes up, they've got to get these rain tires on.
Well, particularly if it's a hard compound on the slick that doesn't build any heat.
Well, exactly, and of course the temperature dropped when this cloud cover came over. We had a front come through, the temperature dropped dramatically, so the temperature of the track dropped, and anybody that's got hard rubber is having a hard time out there. Sam Halkias now running in
12th spot, I think, David.
Started 14th.
There's the queue behind him. Mark Brackey, Grayson Upchurch, Joe Walker in the 09. Now Gary Martz is trying to step into the top 15. Halkias has been campaigning that beautiful TR6 for years, has been very close, and that car in a straight line is still very quick. Boy, I'll tell you, he works it hard in the corners. Then Brackey, then here comes Grayson Upchurch, and Grayson has been second a couple of times here at the Runoffs, and I talked to him before the race, and he said I think the Nissan right now is just not competitive. He didn't qualify as well as he would have liked. Now we go back a little farther. There's 74. That's Roland Camber, and I believe, I'm not sure, is that Cole? Yep, that's Camber and Cole, 8th and 9th. Camber trying to hang on and or get back around Cole. And 71, Bruce McCarthy, you're going to mention, is right there as well.
Roland Camber also had an incident up at the keyhole earlier on, a few laps back.
Yeah, that's when he nerfed around Grayson Upchurch, thus he's got the damaged front end on that car. Cole, lucky both of his moments came pretty much by himself, no problems in terms of damage.
Grayson Upchurch has got the damaged side and all that fender work hanging off, which is obviously making Joe Walker very leery about going by him, although he's trying hard. So we're watching now the 99 car of Pratt Cole following Roland Camber, leading Roland Camber.
Yeah. Pratt Cole came in here, he qualified second here this year, the defending champion, even with that additional weight. The problem is with the problems that he's had and his drop back, he can't get up to the front as quick. Look at that, under 70 degrees, 68 to be exact. And when the afternoon was here, we were in the 80s. Back, and there is number 5, Joe Walker in 12th, continuing to be pressured now by Mark Brackey. And as we went to break, we showed you the temperature at 68 degrees. It is now 67 degrees. So this front continuing to drop the temperatures. And these guys working awful hard to try and build some temp in the tires. Here comes Walker. He wants to get by Halkias. Looks like he has a little bit of a damage, perhaps. Well, maybe not. I thought there was some damage to that left front fender over that wheel. Boy, side by side, he's inside of Halkias. And
to turn 6, of course, he got around Grayson Upchurch on that lap somewhere. So Joe Walker starting to pull away now from these
Oh, it's some debris on the outside of the carousel, and it's really offline unless you have a wide line at the exit.
Any debris on this track at the moment is not a surprise. I've never seen so much bodywork hanging off so many cars, and so many cars nerfing each other, going over curbs, shedding bits of bodywork at all. There's some bodywork missing big time on that car there.
Yeah, for a minute I thought that was our second place car because it was red, and I thought, boy, that thing had some problems. But there is our second place car of John Brackey. But let's check in with John Bizignano, who is standing by with our leader's dad.
Mr. Kima, you told me that you were an Air Force pilot during the war. Is that where he got these fast genes from?
Evidently. I flew bombers, fighters, jets, both.
Does it make you nervous to see him? You've been watching him for some 16 years, you said. Does the thrill go away?
Oh, no, never goes away, especially when he's winning.
All right, he wants another championship for his son this weekend.
Well, ever since that moment with Brackey where they were side by side and Brackey went around after he was in the lead, Kima has been just spotless at this point. Now, remember, we were talking about that little bit of debris sitting on the outside of the track. Well, I'll go back and show you exactly what happened here. A couple of cars, as you would expect. Boom.
More side-by-side loving there. More fender work ripped off, thrown to the side of the road. There's so much garbage disposed of.
E-production tenderness.
I guess. So great Kima. His underpowered Elva Courier, 36 years old, holds off John Brackey. John Brackey seems to have sort of plateaued out. Kima's last lap was a 1:40.8. John Brackey at 41.1.
And the rain continues in spots here. Certain areas of the track don't look too bad, but there's still moisture on the window of Tony Rivera, so he's picking it up in certain areas around the track.
As they go around turn one, which he's about to now, you can see the sky in the distance, which is where the weather is coming from. And as we go under the bridge, the sky in the distance there is definitely lighter than it was. And of course, driving on the rain, especially somewhere like Mid-Ohio, when it's got greased up with most of the way through the weekend here. So this track is pretty greased up now. Hasn't rained for 2 days. It gets extremely slippery when you, especially places like the Keyhole where cars go slow. They drop oil, they drop antifreeze, they drop fluids here, and a little bit of water on the top of that makes it lethal. A very slippery place indeed. Of course, you've got to be very careful at the end of the straight here. Braking for turn 6. You brake too late on the slippery surface into the beach area.
Into China Beach you go, and that's never a good thing. We'll be back as we've got a quarter of the race remaining. Back, everybody. Mid-Ohio, the Valvoline Runoffs for the 39th edition of the SCCA's National Championship Chase. E-production is being led by Craig Kima, but look at this battling here. Halkias was under attack from Gary Martz. Halkias had just passed Martz. Martz trying to come back after him, couldn't get it done going into the S's, so Halkias hangs on at this point to the 11th spot. Right in front of him is Joe Walker, and Walker just made the pass on Jesse Prather. Just got around him.
So Joe Walker, after his little off there at 7, got pushed off when Pratt Cole spun in front of him. He came around the corner, there he was blocking the road. He took to the grass, then he himself spun on the grass, but ever since then he rejoined in about 17th or 18th spot, now up to 9th. So Roland Camber will be next in his sights, but only 4 laps left to go. And he is, well, he's not that far behind. He's about 4 seconds behind Roland Camber. But as you can see, he's a lot quicker than Jesse Prather, who he just got around. Look at the daylight he's pulled out in less than half a lap, having got past Prather. So going through that very fast turn 1. Yeah, I can't see the other guys in front of him, which is only 4 laps to go. It's not good.
Well, Walker qualified in the 4th spot, and he wasn't that far off pole time. So he is obviously somebody that's got some pretty good pace in that car. This is the 0-1. This is the battle for the silver here, and Jeff Derniel starting to feel some heat from Eric Skurmans. Oh, excuse me, it's lap traffic. I thought it was Skurmans right behind him. So Derniel working around lap traffic, and you can see that he's actually got now about a 2-second margin over Skurmans. I thought, boy, did Skurmans make up some ground, but that's not the case. Tony Rivera, with all of his problems in that spin early, he sits in the 5th spot behind Derniel and Skurmans at this point.
Of course, that traffic that he just passed, that is the sort of thing when there's 36 cars take to the field here with just a 2.4 mile lap. Traffic can play a big part of it when you're coming up to lapping.
Looking at Luis Rivera here, number 16, running in 16. Right behind him, the 27 of Ernest Anderson. And Luis Rivera, indeed related to Tony Rivera, both of them running out of Colorado. And Luis a little bit further back in the pack right now in his RX-7. Ooh, look at the big slide by Anderson behind him, trying to stay with him. In fact, close up a little bit.
Closing up through 8.
Oh, the number 17. That was Craig Young, who earlier had been running as high as 3rd, but he has looped it. That's his 2nd spin. If you recall, he was the one who looped it with Pratt Cole in the perhaps oil over in the carousel earlier on.
So that's going to put him back into the clutches, I would think, of Joe Walker. Or did Joe Walker get by him as well? Then no, I don't see any sign of Joe Walker.
And a little bit further back in the running order here. Here comes the number 7 of Philip Hopper, trying to take 20th away from Darren Lohr. And Lohr defending nicely there, but right now Hopper very aggressive and awfully close. Right behind them is a 00 of Doug Piner, the 240Z. Ooh, little tap there.
Very close. This race, this incredibly intense race, is for 20th spot. I tell you what, these SCCA club drivers, when they get going, when they come here to the national championships in Ohio, it's the Olympics of their sport. It's a do-or-die effort. The points for the season are completely nullified. It's just who wins this race. So it's very important for these guys.
I am at a loss, David, as to what Philip Hopper there was trying to do. He went off a very bizarre line. Oh, look at Halkias. He comes from way back, trying to get back underneath Prather. Prather just absolutely stays with it on the outside, and denied for Halkias here. Right behind them now continues to run Gary Martz, who's watching these two guys duke it out and hoping something develops that would assist him.
Assist him. Because if you're playing basketball and someone throws you the ball, they get an assist. If someone eaves somebody off here, you don't get points for assisting, do you?
You don't get points, but you know,
you get a punch in the mouth.
That's right. Here they go, Prather, Halkias, and Martz. This remains the battle right now for the 10th spot behind Joe Walker. These three guys have been in lockstep for a number of laps here, as we have about 2 to go in the chase for E-production today. And you can see how far behind Prather is now. Walker way off in the distance. He just went underneath turn 1 up there, and they're just coming onto the front straight, but it doesn't really seem to matter. These three having their battle. And now, ooh, a nice move here, boy, in very short time. Doug Piner did not just get around Hooper, but he got around Darren Lohr as well. So Piner now has taken over the 20th spot. Oh, but then he gets past.
Well, that's Jeff Daniil, who's running in
that's a
third
lap car
spot,
again.
so he's getting through that traffic, and of course he needs to work his way through that traffic, because not far behind him is Eric Skamant, so he needs to keep going here.
So Daniil 3rd, and then the lap battle, but it is a good one for that 20th spot. And Doug Piner has it. He's quickly drawing away from Lohr and Hooper. Here's our overall race leader, and he'll be coming up, get the indication, 1 to go. One more lap for Craig Kima in a car that he was a little bit concerned about in terms of its ability to run fast, because he thought the tires in the cold weather might stay underneath these heavier cars, and he has put that theory to rest big time here. Prather, Halkias, Martz. This game is still afoot here in this battle for 10th. Prather has it.
Joe Walker, I'm afraid, is not going to be able to make up enough ground to take 8th spot, but Walker, who's out of the picture now, coming up tonight from about 18th spot. And a terrific battle going on here, and as I said, these guys really put their whole hearts and souls into this. This race is for 10th.
Well, this is what they're all about. I mean, this becomes a family affair, a hobby that the whole family participates in, and they go after it hard. Yeah, they're coming up.
Traffic in front. This could play a part.
That car stepped out big time there as well.
This could hold Prather up. Oh, but the 83 car of Halkias goes around.
Well, he was trying. It looked like maybe he was just trying to get a little greedy on a run.
Well, he saw that car coming up, and he thought he was going to take advantage of it. It didn't work out for him at all. In fact, he lost another spot.
And here comes Kennard. Yeah, that's Ken Kennard, who had the spin up at the top of the S's. You see the bodywork damage from where he got clipped by Grayson Upchurch when Kennard spun in front of Grayson. So Halkias has dropped well back. As a matter of fact, now he's 14th after having been 11th. Kima working his last lap right now into the carousel one final time. The crew watching and just now realize that it's going to happen unless he has some major bobble here. Craig Kima, the Elva Courier, purchased in '66 from Carl Haas. Haas ends up in his hands and ends up giving him a national championship. What a great story. And there's Dad, and he is elated as well. And Kima, well, I'll tell you what, fast from the get-go here, but never confident, I don't think. And boy, here we go. Kennard and Halkias down into the S's. This is the battle for 15th now.
Halkias spinning on that last lap. Here you see it. They've got traffic in front. Prather gets balked by the traffic. Halkias thinks this is my big opportunity and promptly goes and spins it.
So he goes around, as you see, and it cost him dearly, about 4 or 5 spots at this point. And Halkias, he's in trouble. Something happened because he is now has a stream of cars going by. Luis Rivera going by. So there is Craig Kima, the winner, and John Bizignano, you're with a happy brother.
I am with a happy brother. Another congratulations comes up here. Derek, I gotta ask you, you've been working on that car all week long. You got a big shunt in the back of the car at the beginning of the week. Tell me about it, working through all the problems.
Everything happened, and just, what do we say? What's for words? It's just great. The underdog car did it.
No voice left from cheering?
No, not a bit.
All right, well, you know what's good for that is some nice cold beer.
Or how about a little champagne from Winner's Circle? That's a good lubricant for a sore throat. When you get the champagne for the win, then you watch the gold medal go around your brother's neck for being the E-Production champion, the 2001 Valvoline Runoffs. Valvoline Runoffs is brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. The championship's been decided. Here are the unofficial results. Craig Kima with the win. Bracchi, a very eventful second. Derniel, a great run to third. Skurmans and Rivera round out the top 5. Pratt Cole, the defending champion, struggling a little bit to 6th. And the rest of the top 10 without any further ado. Let's meet our champion.
Well, you get a look at Craig Kima's dad, CP, giving him his gold medal, handing him the jewelry, and I know that this is a special moment. You know, you could have a trophy girl do it, but who better than to give you a gold medal for winning a national championship than your dad? And that's the second one for you, Craig. And you told me early on, you said, this cold weather is not good for me. Maybe that was the only mistake that you made all day.
I hope so. It got kind of close out there a couple times, and John got by me, and I think he got up and over madness and a little bit loose out there, and I think we touched, and I don't know, that's about the last time I saw him. So,
well, the guys in the booth said thanks to you he actually finished second, because if you hadn't hit him he would have gone ahead and spun.
Well, I'd rather be first. He can have second.
Well, there you go, guys. Craig Kima knows what he wants. This is 2 national championships, the first in E-Production.
He was definitely on the way around there, that 89 car. He does his awful tank slapper going down the hill. Must have knocked the stuffing out of him.
That was a great save after the incident. Let's go right back down to John Bizignano with our silver medalist.
Well, the silver medal has just arrived to John Bracchi. John, you were out there in the lead, and then it all went away. What happened?
Well, Craig and I got a little close. We'll just leave it at that.
And you came out the loser. There's a huge tire mark here on the side of your car. Now, exactly whose rubber is that?
I think that's Craig's.
All right, well, listen, congratulations on a great run. I've got to ask you, this beautiful Mazda, everything perfect on it, and you get beat by a 35-year-old car. What are you thinking when you're back there like that?
I'll be back next year.
All right, he's already planning for it, guys.
Well, and obviously when you've tasted silver and you've led, you know the gold's within your grasp, so you want to give it a try. But I kind of wonder about his comment there, because he sure looked like he was going to go around, and that Kima coming by actually straightened him out. But let's take a look at our full field results. There's Kima, Bracchi, Derniel, as we said, a good run. We had a look at the top 10. Jesse Prather, a good weekend for the Prather family. Father Kent won one of the production classes and a gold medal yesterday, and then Jesse ends up in the top 10. That's not too bad. You saw Grayson Upchurch mired deep in the second group there. He's been struggling and got hit 2-3 times today. Just a tough go. And here's the rest of the field. So
people like John Schmidt not having the sort of day they thought they were going to have at all.
Yeah, he ended up absolutely showing dead last, 35th, after dropping out on the very first lap. So there's some of the other action that unfolded here. Thanks so much for joining us for our E-Production National Championship chase from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It was eventful in terms of performance and weather. For David Hobbs, for Brian Tillin, for John Bizignano, I'm Greg Kramer. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to being with you again sometime on Speed Channel. Until that time, do take care, everybody.